What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Savage Grind Podcast. My name is Daniel Joseph, where we're going to help you elevate to the next level and be successful. Basically, I just want to roll out and give you as much value as possible. So I've started my success. My journey started maybe about 7 years ago, where I had nothing, but I was able to build now almost a 10-figure business. Got a level of success in my life, and I just want to share with all my people, man. Especially not right now in this era, this time we're living in. It's a special, never on the planet seen time with this pandemic going on. So much obscurity, so much fear, so much everybody losing their jobs, and it's just a hard time out there for a lot of people. But don't be fooled. There's still a lot of people out there that are elevating, getting to the next level, and accomplishing their success, right? And I'm a testament to that. But I'm not only by myself. I have a huge team behind me that support me and that support our vision. But a little bit of background about what I am and where I come from and what it is and what does it mean to be Savage Grind and what is that all about, right? Growing up Latino, growing up in obscurity where we lived and seeing my parents, what they went through, and just many people in the neighborhood, what they went through. I'm a firm believer, Latinos in general, coming from any kind of immigrant to this country, we have something instilled within our bloodline that is called grit. They can't take that from us. You cannot give someone that. That is instilled in your bloodline to come here, to work hard, to hustle, to grind. And that's what we have as coming to this country, is that grit. And so I really want to expound upon how I feel people that are every day out there going there 9 to 5, working their mundane jobs every day, getting on the bus. You have not been forgotten. Let me help you and enlighten you and show you how that internal grit can be turned into the freedom life of entrepreneurship, then give you that financial freedom that you and your family deserve. We are waking up every day early to catch the bus, catch the train, get in our cars, go to a job, to work, and putting in that time and that effort for the man. Why not do the same thing for yourself or your family to change it? You deserve it. You have greatness within you. You were born with that. That was implanted in each and every one of us. And especially come to this country and knowing how it's not just going to be given to you, that hard work and that effort, eventually at the end of the day, I could show you and bring that out of you and help you get to that next level. So I grew up in the 80s, baby, in Southside Chicago, little village neighborhood, where, it wasn't exactly the best place to grow up, but that's where we were, right? My parents, two parents, Mexican, came from Mexico, came here, made a life. Actually, they grew up in Pilsen first and then moving Taylor Street and then merging to Little Village area, which is, known for, it's gang violence. At that time though, it was predominantly Polish, but they still had the Italians and Polish and all that type of gang life. So that was what my parents went through, right? And that kind of just builds their character. Them coming here, working. My dad worked for the railroad. My mom was always known to have 2-3 jobs at every given time. My mom was that Mary Kay Avon lady. She was that lady selling gold. She was working in department stores. So my parents come from a real hardworking background, grit, that kind of instilled my everyday values of hard work, right, and persistence. And growing up in that environment, it did, leave a gap in my life of not seeing my parents around. They weren't always, because of course they were working. My dad, a phenomenal man. I highly look up to my dad and his patience levels. I'm always trying to strive and just have my parents and my dad, his patience. I really admire and endear that quality about him, and my mom's, hard work ethic. It really, really meant a lot to me and instilled those values for me. But that left a gap in my life. And that gap was usually filled by me, being a bad kid, getting in trouble, not always, buying into the school atmosphere. I'm actually was one that was, sent off to tutoring. I was that kid going to tutoring from grade school all the way through high school. I always had to go get special ed, go to summer school. That was me. I didn't like to read. I wasn't a reader. I wasn't into books. I wasn't into, buying into the school atmosphere. But, as time grew and today, how important that is today. And we'll speak on that later. But, a little bit more, just seeing that environment and being in that environment, like you didn't know any better if that was like what it was supposed to be or what. To me, it was normal to see guys hanging out in the street, drinking, getting high, hanging out, selling drugs. Like that was an everyday norm for us growing up on 26th Street. But going to a Catholic grammar school, my parents tried to give us a better life. The Catholic grammar school we went to, Good Shepherd, my sister and I. But even that, there's no real escape. If that's your environment, that's what you grow up in. So eventually, having that gap where my parents were just trying to provide for us, so that meant they weren't there. So of course, naturally, I migrated to gang culture, gang life. Those are my friends. Those were my parents. Those were at that time of my life. That's what I dove into. And like anything else, like when you're a part of something, you really just dive into, and it's kind of like a testament of who I am today, because anything that I go into, I go all in and dive into. And even at that time of my life, that's where I absorbed most of my energy, most of my thoughts was being a gangbanger, hanging out, having fun. It wasn't until my late 20s that I got a reality check in my life, and I actually got shot in the neck, and I was left there in the streets to fend for myself, not knowing whether or not I was gonna walk again. So that was a reality check for me. That really opened my eyes and kind of started the shift of thinking about, not pursuing or being in that life anymore. But it wasn't even until after that where I really seen how low and how scandalous and how, bad it is to be within those people, when the actual gang people that I associated with, actually, my older brother-in-law, rest in peace, was killed by one of our own gang members. And to me, that was just like, I can't be associated, be a part of anything that's going to take, my own family member's life. Who's to say that they weren't going to take my life, Lex? So that was kind of like the epitome of where it ended for me in gang life. And again, that left another period in my life where I had a gap. Where do I belong? Who am I? What am I doing? And I was working, for a long time for a union as a carpenter, making great, phenomenal money as a union carpenter here in Chicago. It's prevailing wages. We all, it's great money being a union carpenter. I was able to develop some skills, as a carpenter, building, working with my hands, and just like anything else, I really dived in and absorbed so much of being a carpenter and embodied what that meant. And like, I took pride in that job. But I knew I needed a shift, and I think 2008 and 2009, for those that are of my age, know how that affected a lot of us. And it was like, well, I have this skill. I know how to build. I know I'm a hard worker. I know I got supportive people behind me. So I kind of just really dove into, the entrepreneur spirit, right? I had no other choice. I was laid off. The union wasn't really providing for me at that time. It was really a really low point in my life. My wife left me. I was living with my sister. Had just caught a DUI. I was really at the rock bottom for me in 2009, going through 2010. It was a real hard time in my life, but it really just instilled that grit and that like, I need to get up and rebuild. And that's what we need sometimes as people, like, to hit that low and to be down there at the bottom and knowing that, I have nowhere but to go is top. And that's the mentality I took. And I decided, well, I have these skills. I'm going to go out and be a subcontractor and open up my own construction business. My first business, Maldonez Construction. I merged my mother's maiden name and my last name. My mom is from Mendez. My dad is Maldonado. I thought it was a perfect, cool name to open up my first company. And that's what embodied me into construction and like being an entrepreneur and just working out there, a solopreneur, getting work, knocking on doors, letting people know that I'm here to service the community, help you put some gutters up, fascia, little odds and ends jobs that really ended up being pretty lucrative for me as a solopreneur, and just super cool and excited. Like, hey, I can make money and not have to rely on a W-2 income or a boss. And like, I was so, absorbed in the union and being of the brotherhood and that life that I had never known that there was anything else out there. And that entrepreneur spirit was born in me at that time in 2010, 2011, 2012. I was out there just grinding it out. But the word savage grind, it doesn't come until like 2016, 2017. My dad, bless his heart, came to work with us, and phenomenal. He had retired from the railroad. He put in his time, and my dad would just come and work to get that extra little pocket money to go gamble at the OTB, bet on the horses, or play cards or play pool. My dad likes to gamble, which is why I don't gamble, because he was not too successful at it. But anyhow, like, he would make his money coming helping out the crews, picking up metal, and that was just phenomenal to have that experience with my dad. But one day he was working with us, and he was just like, "Hey guys, you guys need to slow down. You guys are working like savages." And the homeowner overheard my dad call us that, and the homeowner was like, "Oh yeah, you guys are savages." And it kind of just stuck, in the back of my mind, like, can I name a company Savage Roofing? Can I come up with something sad? Like, it was just like skeptical, but the name just stuck, and now here we are today, Savage Grind, a company with this new business model. In the past 2 years, we went from 0 to 8.5 million in sales. Phenomenal success. And that started with my own man calling us savages. And I just really, just like anything else, I really bought into the brand, bought into the idea. Like, how can I be different? How can I stick out in the marketplace? How can I be just not that average company? And that's kind of like our hidden credo. Don't be average. Go be savage. And we embody that, and it's phenomenal culture we built around it. Like, going down to my subcontractors, down to my hourly workers, down to my repair guys, office people, salespeople, all full staff. They all embody the brand Savage. We're all savage. We're out there working, but it's not just savage as a word where you would take it from a negative connotation, but more positive. Like, I'm working from my savage heart. I'm putting passion. I'm putting love. I'm putting care into our clients and our customers. We're doing great work, great craftsmanship. So, like, just taking care of all of that, and just doing it to the fullest. And today, super proud where we're at today in business, and the future is just upon us. 2021, super excited, merging new companies. As we stand today, we have two companies that we have that are running legitimate. We're about to open up a third to incorporate solar energy to our pipeline of revenue. So we'll be 3 companies under one name brand, umbrella, Savage brand. So we're super excited to roll that out. And all of that now, today, what we're doing is generate through sales. And sales 101 is what, in our future podcast, what we'll be talking about, how I can help you build your sales pipeline, how to rebuild your referral basis, how I can just make you a follow-up king, like just all these things that tips that I didn't have, that I want to give to you to help you guys grow your sales force, help you grow your sales company, because all of this generates, no matter what industry you're in or what you're doing, it all boils down to one thing: sales. You got to learn how to sell. So allow me to be your vessel to come in there and teach you guys some insights from my background of grit and hard work and hard ethic, because like I said, I'm just homeboy from the hood here that went through the obscurity, but now here have a ton of value to offer you guys. I hope you listen with an open heart and take what I'm saying with a grain of salt, because it's going to be raw and uncut. So I hope you like that. I hope you buy into it. And like how I always say, don't be average. Go be savage today. I love you.